What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to EP09. Alright, so we're going to start this one off with an update from Keone Pearson. Now, in this physique update, Keone is actually sitting around 229 or 230 pounds, and I don't think that you're actually going to see him go above this weight any further this offseason. It does look like he's filling in some gaps here, putting on some tissue where he really needed to. The thickness to the back, I think, the sweep to the quads looks a little bit more impressive. The only thing that Keone was really criticized for in the past was his midsection. He does have that vertical separation in the ab wall, but with that being said, his vacuum is very impressive, and he does have one of the most ridiculous X-frames that you'll see in all of bodybuilding, no matter what division it is. So this is looking like a very successful offseason so far for Keone Pearson. He is not holding back for his first Olympia defense, and I think he's going to be a very, very difficult champion to defeat. Alright, next up, we've got an update here from Nick Walker at 4 weeks out of the New York Pro, and we're seeing just a ridiculous amount of detail from Nick Walker here. That midsection is looking to be definitely on point. He's really got that detail in the midsection that we've come to expect from Nick, and the midsection control still is looking absolutely fantastic. That's almost a calling card for Nick Walker at this point, since he was so heavily criticized for his midsection, a little bit earlier in his career. I don't think that's really a factor for Nick anymore, because he does practice some of the best midsection control of anyone in the open division as far as I'm concerned. Now, Nick did post on his story here on exactly what his plan is going into the New York Pro. Check it out.
This is crunch time now, so we're going to find out within these last 4 weeks who's grinding, who's not, who's pushing hard, who's not, who's being a pussy, who's not, and I'm excited. We already know I'm bringing my A game. We're pushing hard now. We're going to make sure we're detailed. We're going to make sure we're ready to go. Because when I walk out, I want everybody to go game over. And that's the plan.
So yeah, it's safe to say that Nick is going to be very difficult to defeat. He has the mass, he has the conditioning, and he really just has that chip on his shoulder that after he had to drop out of the Olympia, he wants this win. He really does want it. And he's actually the last top Olympian to really take the stage this year in terms of, that top three. When you really think about it, you've got Hadi Choopan. You won't see him compete anymore this year after winning back-to-back Arnold Classics. Samson, we know he's done competing for the year. Derek Lunsford isn't taking the stage aside from in Pittsburgh at the guest posing. I would be shocked if you saw Brandon Curry compete anywhere. And of course, you do have, Hunter Labrada, Andrew Jack, guys like that. But when it comes to that upper echelon of bodybuilding, we're talking about the top three in the world here. This is the last opportunity for any competitors to get on stage and really size themselves up with the best of the best. Now, you guys let me know what you think of this update of Nick Walker, and do you think that there is anyone that can defeat him at the New York Pro? Alright, next up, we've got an update here from James Hollingshead. Now, James did a guest posing here at the NPC Iron World in Sweden, and I mean, honestly, if James just dropped some water, he could probably be ready to compete in that show, But honestly, looking at this here conditioning when it came to the guest posing, I really just can't help but wonder why James Hollingshead did not do the Detroit Pro. I mean, he was obviously ready to come in and do that show. We know that he did that little mini cut to see how his body was going to respond, and that was all done pretty much in the timeline that it would have been for him to peak for the Detroit Pro. I can't understand it for the life of me. I don't think it would have been an extremely easy victory after seeing what Martin Fitzwater looked like on stage, but chances are good still that James would have won that show. Now, regardless of that, AJ Kelly Robert actually reported something on James Hollingshead, which was very interesting considering, all the talk that James had about coaching in the past and things like that. So AJ says here, breaking news during breakfast today, and he tags James Hollingshead here, says he informed me he has a new coach, the biggest thing in European coaching at the moment, Boss of Outlaw, who's also coaching Nathan Diasha, Martin Fitzwater, Wesley Vissers, Urs Kalasinski, and James is a team here. James has informed me he is letting Boss of Outlaw take the lead on this one. By the end of this season, expect James Hollingshead to be at this year's Olympia. So for someone that calls himself uncoachable, James is now teaming up with one of the fastest rising stars in coaching in professional bodybuilding, and I think that this could actually work out very well for James. I think he did have to try something. He's tried to work with a couple people and it just didn't work out for whatever reason, and I'd be interested to know exactly what the coach and client relationship would be here. How much control is James actually giving up to Boss of Outlaw? Because we know that he wants to stay heavily involved in the decision-making process. If I do find any more info on that, I'll be sure to let you guys know, but you know what? Let me know in the comments below for now. Where do you think James will end up competing in the 2024 season to earn his Olympia qualification? And do you think that James just missed out on a golden opportunity by skipping out on the Detroit Pro? Alright, next up, we've got an update here from Hadi Choopan. Now, we're seeing a few more physique updates from Hadi after the Arnold Classic than we typically would have seen from Hadi really in previous entire long bodybuilding seasons when it comes to social media. We're still seeing those striations in the quads. He's still absolutely massive. It doesn't seem like this guy really ever takes a break. I mean, there's really no doubt that Hadi Choopan is one of the most fiercest guys going into the gym. He just trains with such intensity. It's something that you just don't see from a lot of other competitors out there. But you know, the physique updates are one thing here. I came across something very interesting on Hadi's profile. There was actually an entire banquet that was thrown in Hadi's honor here, and it was actually put on by his one of his sponsors. It's called the Energy Training Equipment Company. I saw that they were fulfilling orders for other countries, even like Afghanistan. They did a big order to send equipment over there to a gym. But look, regardless, this banquet was absolutely extravagant. I actually couldn't believe it when I saw these clips. There were fireworks, dancing, music. It was a massive venue. It looked like it was a pretty substantial dinner that they put on. There was an award ceremony. You know, they gave Hadi an award at the end of it. There was hundreds of people at this thing. Compared to how bodybuilders are really treated over here, I mean, this is a massive difference, you guys. For a sponsor to put on an entire banquet for just one athlete. Now, keep in mind, obviously, this is Hadi Choopan that we're talking about. And we do know that bodybuilders are really regarded as royalty over there overseas in the Middle East. I was still very surprised to see an event of this caliber put on just for Hadi Choopan. And hopefully this is the kind of thing that doesn't, you know, go to Hadi's head. And I don't think that it will, to be completely honest. I mean, Hadi lost that title once in 2023. He does not want to lose it again. And we know, now that we saw him at these last two Arnold Classics, that he can come back better. And I do believe that he will come back better for the 2024 Olympia. So you guys let me know what you think about this banquet. I mean, imagine if they did things like this in the United States. Is this something that you would actually attend to actually see one of your favorite bodybuilders get awards like this? Anyway, it's kind of interesting. You guys let me know. Anyway, that's it for me in this video, you guys. Thank you for tuning into EP09. Be sure to like and subscribe.